All right. Well, hello, and greetings, everyone. Welcome to the Black Entrepreneurs Institute show live. We are back with another dynamite episode, and I'm so glad to be here. I'm telling you right now, go ahead and grab a pen and a paper. And while you're at it, hit the like button, hit the share button, start a watch party because look, we want to help entrepreneurs and we've got help in the house. So I'm Damian Johnson, and I'm here with my illustrious co-host, Dr. Nicole Rankin and Angela Hooper Manyfield, and our other business partner and founder, Cedric. He's off conquering the world. So, Dr. Nick, I'm not going to waste time asking how you're doing because I know you're already doing great, but why don't you share with us what you've been working on most recently?
Oh, yes. Well, hello, everyone. I am Dr. Nick, and yes, I am always doing great. I'm adopting Cedric's philosophy. But 2021 has been flying by. We are excited, hit the ground running. We're currently running our Adulting in My Purpose course that is geared to help millennials and young professionals with their personal development, helping them discover who they are, helping them clarify their vision, and truly develop a plan for their next step in life. So we've been doing that, and we also are getting ready to launch our third cohort of our partnership with an organization in Kenya. So we'll have our cohort 3 of Kenyan youth who will go through the course.
Awesome.
So we're really excited about that. Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, congratulations. Angela, why don't you give us a sneak peek into your world? Tell us what's new and tell us what's exciting.
So for me, it's 2021. My word for the year was fitness. And when I looked at fitness, it was fitness in totality. So financial fitness, personal health fitness, mindset, and everything. And so everything that I've been doing so far this year has been centering around that. I am excited that we have planners. Last year I came out with my first planner as in a supervisory planner to help new supervisors grow. And since that momentum has kicked off, I've kicked off a few other planners as well. And so some to help people track their fitness goals, look at their money and just other things, because what we find is we pay attention or we focus on what we pay attention to, and having metrics and accountability is always a great way. But it also gives people an opportunity to enter into my body of work at a very low entry level price.
Oh, I absolutely love that. So you both are off to a great start to the year. Love it, love it, love it. Well, friends, listen. Here at the Black Entrepreneurs Institute, we exist exclusively to help Black and minority entrepreneurs grow their business, improve business performance, accelerate market momentum, and deliver outstanding customer experiences. You see, we are all about equipping Black and minority business owners to elevate their mindset and their money. Dr. Nick, let me ask you this real quick. What do you love most about the work that we do at BEI?
Yeah, I think for me, it's about when I see the participants get results. We are adamant, and that is kind of thing that we are a result-oriented boot camp. And so when I see the participants actually do the work, take on the coaching, take on the mentoring, and get really tangible results in their business, whether it's increase in finances or increase in revenue, or they're doing things that they have never done before, and the light bulb just clicks. I think that just helps me validate to know the work that we're doing is valuable, it's needed, and we're truly making an impact. So that's what gets it for me.
I knew you would say that. Angela, let's hear it from you.
So I co-sign everything that Dr. Nick said, and if I were just to add to that, it would be that we get a chance to model it right in front of them. So often when we're watching people from afar, they look like the Wizard of Oz, right? What's happening behind the magic curtain. And it seems like things that we can't do. So by having this platform, we're also learning from one another, adjusting, pivoting, taking this content and using it in our businesses. We have wins, we have learns. And so basically we're on this journey side by side, and they get to see us, even though maybe our growth may be at a higher level than their businesses, but it also puts them in a place where they can be uninhibited. because they see us trying new things every week, every month as well. So being able to take the mystery out of entrepreneurial success for our boot campers, to me, has been phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think thanks for sharing that, Angela. I get it. I think for me, the piece that gives me the greatest fulfillment is to give them the practical application, because so many programs out here give you theory, give you content, but you don't necessarily have someone modeling and showing you the way and giving you an opportunity to practice. And so I love the fact that we have those practical sessions that they get to um, test out what they're learning and to try it on. So for me, that's the thing that I love the most about the work that we do in our boot camp. But as you all know, this is the month of February, and that means it is Black History Month. So we thought it would be fun to share a few maybe not so well known Black history facts. And so, Angela, why don't you grab the first one?
So the first fact is the fact that Black History Month actually began as Negro History Week. And the celebration of Negro History Week was created in 1926 by Carter G. Woodson, who is a noted African-American historian, scholar, educator, and publisher. And it did not become a month-long celebration until 1976. And I just want to add that, contrary to a lot of misnomers out there, like, yeah, they gave us the shortest month, right? We've all heard that. It was intentionally the month of February because the month of February coincides with the birthdays of Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln.
Wow. See, I didn't even know that. Dr. Nick, how about you?
Yeah, so I have a business fact. So since we are BEI, when we think about Black owned businesses or African American businesses, it originated in the days before slavery in 1865. So emancipation and civil rights permitted business men and men to operate in America in a legal structure during the Reconstruction era. So afterwards, then you'll see small businesses kind of open up, but it date back to 1865 is when Black owned businesses started to appear.
All right. So we're getting the whole history lesson here. Angela, what about you?
So, of course, we got to do the shout out to all the fraternities and sororities. Of course, everybody knows Dr. Nick and I, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. But what we know is the dance form of stepping actually originated in Africa. And the African gumboot dance is credited as being stepping's biggest influence. And then also got a shout out for the whole entire Divine Nine. And our guest today is also a member of a sorority as well, of the Divine Nine. So again, it permeates through our culture.
Okay, well, let me see if I can slip one in there, because I'm not of the fraternity, and this obviously not sorority, but I'm gonna have to represent my roots, right? So in 2008, Usain Bolt became the first man to win 3 records at a single Olympic event. So to all of my Jamaican friends, I have to say, big up all the yachties.
Big up.
Okay, so Dr. Nick, I guess you got the next one.
Yeah. So I remember I think it was 2019, everybody was Wakanda Forever, right? Big Black Panther movie hit. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. But what people may not know, that the Black Panther character first appeared in comics in 1966. So it's not something that's new, but it has been around since 1966. So that's amazing. Wakanda truly is forever.
Yeah, I love that one. And so we were supposed to do 6 facts, but I decided to do 7 because 7 is the number of completion, right? So I figured the last 2 would be business and financials. So 6 is that self-made millionaire, Madam C.J. Walker, was born on a cotton plantation in Louisiana, and she became wealthy after inventing a line of American hair care products, and she established Madam C.J. Walker Laboratories and was also known for her philanthropy. And then So since she was a millionaire, we got to talk about the first Black billionaire.
Of course.
And so before Oprah and Michael Jordan joined the club, the Billionaires Club, Robert Johnson became the first African-American billionaire when he sold the cable station that he founded, Black Entertainment Television, BET, in 2001.
That is awesome. So much good stuff and so much to be proud of as people of color and Black people. So let's get into our show today. Listen, I'm super, super excited. I've been waiting for this show for a long time. Our guest today can be described in many ways. But when I think of Barbara Littles, the word powerhouse comes to mind. See, author, national speaker, and trainer in leadership, business, and spirituality, Barbara M. Littles has been praised by clients as the high capacity architect. Isn't that awesome? I love the way that just rolls off. High capacity architect. Listen, she masterfully coaches and mentors her clients to new levels of success in their business. And she's authored the ebook, 7 Legal Mistakes to Avoid in Your Business. So as a business attorney who has structured businesses for over 30 years, Barbara's passion is to coach and to mentor entrepreneurs and ministry leaders into their highest purpose. She has worked with individuals and organizations by assisting them in finding the gold in their employees and in themselves. And she's also coached and mentored executives, CEOs, bishops, and entrepreneurs who desire to move from stagnant in success to significant in purpose. Barbara's gift to her clients is her ability to see and help them develop strategy for their vision. She sees the end from the beginning and is an expert at mapping entrepreneurial and organizational success. She has a particular passion for working with high-capacity women who structure, build, and lead in business and organizations for influence, impact, and income in the global marketplace. As a matter of fact, this week, her new podcast, High Capacity Woman, just launched. So here's what I can tell you. There's a lot more I could tell you about Barbara, but personally, to me, she has been a friend, a mentor, a strategic thinking partner, a door opener, and without question, she's a people builder. See, Barbara is one of these people that we describe as a plus person, that she gives more than she takes, and she always leaves you better than she found you. So we are very excited to have her here with us today. Friends, please help me welcome none other than Barbara M. Littles.
Hi, I'm gonna have to start traveling with Damien.
He's a good hype man, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you for that introduction. I'm
Barbara,
glad to be here.
Welcome. We're glad to be here. And listen, we want to extract all the goodness. So I'm gonna let Dr. Nick take it away. We've been rearing for this for a long time.
Awesome. Well, it's definitely such a powerhouse. And thank you for coming and sharing with us. But, Damien read your bio, but can you just tell us specifically how and why you began your entrepreneur journey?
I would have to say that it was, I don't want to say it was, because I believe it was ordained for me, but I started because I was coming out of corporate America as a vice president of a healthcare corporation, and came home for a couple of years, and a friend of mine called me and said, I need you to litigate this case for me. I was a litigator at the time. And I said, no, I'm taking off for a little while. He begged me. He said, well, I'm a transactional attorney. I'll help, but I need a litigator. And once I got a taste of doing my own thing, I never went back. I never went back because I saw the vision of what I could do and what I could build on my own. And as hard as I worked for the corporation, and I loved it, I thought if I worked that hard for my legacy and my family, it would be golden. And so that's really how I got into business and entrepreneurship. And I worked with corporations and businesses and entrepreneurs for over 30 years. So I got to see a lot of needs in the marketplace.
I like that you said once you got a taste.
Just a taste, Angela. The only you can taste.
You know what? That's so funny. Look, that's why, allowing people to sample our services works so well, right? Because once you get a taste, if it's good, you got them, right?
They'll come back for more.
So let me ask you this. As a person who's also transitioned, not necessarily for corporate, for me, mine was definitely federal. And I know there's a difference even between corporate and federal, but what would you say was actually the most challenging part of that transition from corporate to entrepreneurship?
Understanding that you were the bottom line. And I think for me, because I ran the legal department in the corporation I was in, to some extent I was the bottom line, but in my own business, I was the bottom line. I was, if you didn't kill it, you didn't eat. I mean, that's the bottom line. So you had to be disciplined and you had to be focused. And so I would ask myself every day, would I hire me? And that really helped me to establish the discipline and focus that I needed to have in my business. But the hardest part was that, and at the time, the hardest part was also finding people, and this is why what you all are doing is so great, finding people to assist me in my business and starting out. And so I think that this is a great platform and a great program that you all have to be able to help entrepreneurs who want to get started.
Yeah, we are the bottom line. As you say, there's no steady every 2 weeks, once a month paycheck.
That's right. No one's giving you a paycheck, right?
That's good stuff. So Barbara, I'd love to have you share a little bit about how you've been able to, take what you've learned in the legal world, right? Your professional experience and leverage it in building your business. Because so often we see entrepreneurs, they're wanting to build a business and they want to run away from what they were doing in corporate. But share with us how you've been able to leverage the corporate experience.
Well, let me say, if I'm truly honest, I was one of those people. I was trying to run away. I was like, I've done that for 30 years. I want to do something else. However, litigation and law requires a lot of strategy. And litigating cases requires a lot of strategy. The number one rule of litigation is never ask a question you don't know the answer to. That didn't help me in coaching. So I had to, navigate there. But it really helps me in strategically helping people plan their business because I am able to see the end of where they want to be and help them to map that out. So I think the strategy, in the most part, in terms of the legal part, also the ability to speak and to address people of all audiences. It doesn't matter who they are, where they are. And I really developed that in the courtroom, and the confidence to be able to do that. So those skill sets really transferred nicely into the business that I'm in now.
That's so interesting because, when Damien asked that question and you think about it as a litigator too, sometimes we get an opportunity to decide which clients we want to take, right? And so as you think about that and you transition that into your business now as a coach, are there times when you're working with entrepreneurs where you see that there are quote unquote red flags, or there are some major differences between those businesses who you felt had the capacity to succeed versus those that maybe did not?
Yes. Angela, I'm so glad you said that. First of all, I love the fact that I can choose who I work with and vice versa. I love that about entrepreneurship. But the other thing is that there are red flags. Now, I realized this over my years of being a lawyer, because I would have people come in, start their business, and I could tell within 30 to 45 minutes of talking with them whether or not their business would succeed. And it was based on a couple of red flags. One, if they were coachable, and I could tell by talking to them whether they were teachable, whether they thought because they had all the technical knowledge that they actually knew how to run a business, which was totally different. And then sometimes they would come in with a person that they were going into partnership with, and it just was not a match. So I learned over the years that red flags are people who are not coachable, teachable. If you think that you know everything, as many years of experience I have, I am a lifelong learner. And understand that you don't have it all, but the person next to you does. So those people who, are opposite that and who thought that entrepreneurship is all about freedom, which it is, but you got to do a lot of work before you get to that point where you can just take off. And, it's, I'm going to be able to vacation more and I'm going to be able to do this more. Yeah. But there's a time you have to work your way to that. So when I saw those, I knew they were red flags that this person probably would not succeed in entrepreneurship.
Yeah, as the saying goes, there's responsibility that comes with that freedom, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
And there's investment. There's investment. I mean, I've had clients who literally have had developed $1 million businesses in their first year, but because they did not structure their business correctly, they paid me more on the back end than they did on the front end. So whereas I would, might charge them a couple $1,000s for an agreement on the front end that they didn't want to pay and they decide not to get, I would see them like a year later on the back end. And literally, I remember one particular client paid $60,000 to $70,000 in litigation fees that could have been taken care of on the front end. So really getting a coach or someone to help you through the process is absolutely critical.
That phrase, pay me now, pay me later, right?
Pay me now, pay me later. Later costs you more. It always does.
Say the dream is free, but freedom costs.
That's right.
A lot of people don't want to do the work. So, as you're talking about the sacrifice and the investment and even just the idea of creating your own legacy and your own own way of life, really, what would you say to aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to kind of make that leap from their corporate to entrepreneurship? What advice would you give to them?
I would tell them to plan. Number one, find a mentor or coach and plan. Plan before you leave. Just don't walk out. My mom used to tell me, and dad used to tell me, don't walk out before you have something else. Sometimes that's necessary, but if you know that you want to do that, plan for it. Get a coach before you walk out. Get a mentor before you walk out, and come up with a plan and strategy to make sure that you can sustain yourself for a period of time as you venture into entrepreneurship. The other thing is that today, social media is so huge. We have so many people on social media. I think social media is great because it's leveled the playing field for people who want to get into business and entrepreneurship. But there's good information and there's not so good information. And so you have to find a good mentor and people who have done it, who know what they're doing, who have an expertise in their areas, so that you can make sure that you're getting the right information. So that would be my advice to people whenever they come and say, I want to start a business or go into entrepreneurship.
That's so good. So Barbara, let's change gears slightly, right? Because, what we've seen is 2020 has been a year where a lot of entrepreneurs have had to do some bobbing and some weaving and some maneuvering, right? So as you think about 2020, how have you had to pivot in your business?
I'll say this. Aside from, I recognize that people have had losses in 2020, both in business and family, et cetera. 2020 was my best year in business. My best year. It was my most creative year. It was the year that I made bold decisions. It was the year that I sat down and really focused in. And the more I gave in 2020 was the year I was able to, actually, because we couldn't travel and I was traveling all the time, I actually touched more people globally in 2020 than I did in any other year because we were all virtual. And so in my business, I started off 2020 with just adding value to people. I sat down and thought about all of the people that I had worked with over the years and who were experts in the 7 spheres of influence. And I called them in, and they all came in and gave interviews on leadership and on business. And so that just added value to people. And it really set up the rest of my 2020 to really go out and to continue to add value to people. So I would say 2020 and everything else is about perspective and really how you see it. And the quicker you're able to pivot, and because I'm a strategist person, okay, I'm able to pivot pretty quickly. So I think pivoting very quickly and understanding that in crisis, there's opportunity. There's always opportunity. And the people who get rich, they get rich because they understand that in crisis, there's opportunity. So a lot of that people made a lot of money in 2020. So, I made good money in 2020, great new client, a new focus in 2020, narrowed my focus. So it was a good year.
Those are some really great tips, and it's interesting because you're exactly right that one of the phrases I use throughout the year, and I'll just say it here, is once COVID hit, right? There was no less money in August of 2020 than it was in February of 2020. And everybody was like, oh, it's a crisis, And Damien heard me say that several times. I said, but there's no less money. People are just spending that same money differently. And so it's our job to figure out where the needs are, so they'll come spend it with us. And it may be in different hands, but the same amount of money was in circulation, right?
Angela, you're absolutely right. People were just more selective in terms of where they were spending their money.
Mm-hmm.
So you just had to show up as the business person, entrepreneur who could solve the problem, and you were primed for the money. So solve the problem, you primed for the money.
That's right. But I saw you out there. And so, when Damien was introducing you and he, shared his personal Barbara testimony, I just got to say that you have been a mentor to me as well. And a lot of what I'm actually doing right now, I can credit it to conversations you and I had.
Wow.
Many of the words that you've said to me through the years is like, it's stuck. It's stuck, including, for me to build my business.
Absolutely.
And so I thank you for that.
You are certainly welcome. And I think, Angela, we all have a responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard this, but I've always said this: that be the first in the room, but don't be the last one in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And so part of my navigating through corporate, through my business, and through what I'm doing now is to make room for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Make room for other people at the board table, at the governance table, at the entrepreneur table, at all of those tables. Make room for someone else. It is not about us. It really isn't. We get the benefit. We benefit. Well, make no mistake about it. We benefit, but it's not all about us.
No, you're exactly right. And I can even say some of the things that I'm able to do. For instance, of course, we're all John Maxwell team members over there. We're standing on your shoulders. Yeah. And so I thank you. And I just want to publicly acknowledge you for the role that you've had in my life. So thank you for that.
My pleasure, Angela.
All right. So my next question is, you talked a little bit about how things were in 2020, and it was really a great year for you. But when we think about the current climate in our country, what are some other considerations that you feel are out there for entrepreneurs when they think about building their business over maybe the next 5 to 10 years?
Wow. I think, and when looking at over the next 5 to 10 years, is to truly lean into what is happening. Don't get so stuck in your head about what you want to do. Lean into what's happening around us. I think it's a great opportunity from the changes that we've been seeing. That's why I think that this platform is so timely, okay, that there are a lot of opportunities out there. I would say to people, really, truly become the expert in what you're doing. We do tend to live in a little microwave generation right now. I think people do things quickly, and I think there are some things we can do more quickly because of technology, but make sure that you can go deep. My philosophy is this. You want to be the person that they can ask 7 questions to, and they can go 7 questions deep. If I ask you and have a conversation with you about something, and you can't go 7 questions deep, means by the time I get to the 4th question, you don't know anymore, then it's not the right person. So they need to become an expert, need to get out and really meet and be curious with as many people as you can. And I think that technology is going to continue to play a huge piece. And so as long as we can automate our businesses and put systems in place, and I think over the next 10 years, we are going to be looking more at generational wealth. And as we look at generational wealth, make sure you put systems in place and bring up your children, nieces and nephews, or whoever, so that they can follow you and be in the marketplace with you as you grow. We tend to go through the marketplace and then look back and then try to bring our kids along. No, if they're 6, Damien, if they're 3, bring them along now and let them experience what it's like to do on their own. So I think to concentrate the next 10 years on what's happening in the marketplace and where the needs really are in the marketplace and where there's been shortfalls in the marketplace. I work with women now just because of that issue. So I think look ahead, don't get stuck in where you are, and always continue to learn. Continue to learn.
I like that.
Yeah, those are golden tips right there. I'm here taking notes. It's amazing. So you mentioned a few things, and you mentioned it more than once, and I would like for you to expound on the importance of the role of relationships in building business.
Dr. Nicole.
Yeah.
I believe that relationships are everything. They are everything. Relationships, you are one person away. One person away from where you want to be. If you look at Amanda last week in the when the inauguration happened last month, you'll see that she was just one person away from overnight. So I think relationships are key. I understand that from an abundance mindset, there's enough for everyone. And I think that's where people either make relationships or break relationships. I can do something similar to what you're doing, but I can't do it like Dr. Nicole. I can't do it like Damien, and I can't do it like Angela. And I'm not trying to. If I stay in my area of expertise, I shine. I stay in my lane. And when people come to me and they say, Barbara, can you do this? I said, yeah, I could do that. But you know what? I know someone who can do it even better. I'm going to send you to Angela. She can do it better. And this is the reason why. She has this particular background. So I have learned in business, don't try to do everything. Because if you're, the jack of all trades, you're the master of none. So relationships are absolutely key. No one's stealing your stuff. No one's going out there. Just go out there, be your best, do your best every day. And remember that every person that you meet might be a potential client. My parents taught me you are no better than anybody else, and nobody's better than you. And that has served me well from the mailroom to the boardroom. From the mailroom to the boardroom. And I learned that relationships in corporate America. I had the president one day, the CEO one day came to me and said, you're the only person that the staff says, you're the only vice president that speaks to them. But that's because the way I was raised. And I understood that if I needed something to go out in the afternoon and the mailroom said, we've already done our run for the day, if I called down, they would do it. It was about relationship. So there are doors that open to you because of relationships that you build. But I said, build well, build relationships well. Yeah.
Wow, that's so good. Wow. All right. So Barbara, let me talk to you a little bit about your signature program, right? So you've got a program, and it's your signature program, and I love the name. It's called Breaking Margins. And you know what I love more than the name? I love your tagline because it's build businesses to break the bank. And so talk to us a little bit, because one of the things that we help our boot campers do is to understand about creating their brand and their brand message. So tell me, one, how did you create that brand message? And then what tips would you share with other entrepreneurs to help them create their brand and identify their message?
Absolutely. It came about because of a need. What I saw a lot of people that had products, but products don't equal business. You can have a great product and not have a business. A business has to be a product within a business. So I decided that what they really needed was structure. My father worked for the Transit Authority in New York. He was a laborer, and he laid the tracks in New York City. Mm-hmm. And so it reminds me that you always need tracks for something to run on. So you can't have a product or products and have no tracks for it to run on. So I decided to do Breaking Margins. The idea with that is I don't want to be in business for 5 years and I'm still operating at a loss. I don't want to be in business 5 years and then all of a sudden the business goes away. So we're going to break the margin. So that's where Breaking Margins came in. And I want people to understand that it's about doing what you called in your purpose, but while you're doing it, making money. Okay, so if you're not making money, it's not a business at the end of the day. So with other people, in terms of their brand, I would say to them, look at who you are, what you love. I do love structure in a lot of ways. I'm processed, I'm strategic, I like structure. So my brand is around structure, it's around building, it's around leading. If you are an artistic person, create your brand around that. And create it around the thing that you do the best. At the end of the day, who are you? Not what you do. When people ask me, who are you? I don't say I'm an attorney, I'm this and that. I tell them who I am as a person. So I think to get to your brand, you have to find out, who are you as a person? Who am I as a person? And if you ask yourself those questions, the brand will come forth.
Who are you as a person? That's such gold.
It really is. And it lends itself to that thinking that, as business owners, that brand is a combination of not only the business, but us, right? Our brand has a personality.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely. Look, Angela, I look at other people that's like, oh man, I want to be cool like that. I was like, Barb, that's not you. You just,
exactly.
Yeah. So if I went out there and there were certain things I did, it wouldn't be me. And if you try to live outside your authentic self, you'll never create and you'll never draw those people that are there for you to work with. Yep. And so I enjoy other people. I enjoy what they do. I try to support what other people do, but I have to live into who I am. And that's what, Andrew, you're absolutely right. That's what the brand is all about, is who are you?
Yes.
Who are you? Yeah.
So one of the things we hear often, and I'm sure you've heard it too, so this won't be any surprise to you, but when we talk to entrepreneurs and business owners, there is a common limiting belief that permeates many of the conversations. And they say things like the reason why their business is not successful or not successful yet is because the people in their circles don't want to spend money. Or, and they'll even group the people. Well, women don't spend money. Well, teachers don't, whatever the category is, right? Black people, it doesn't matter. And so my question for you is, what would you say regarding that belief, and talk a little bit about what your experience has been with that?
My experience has been with that is that people spend money on what is valuable to them.
Okay, I'm about to tell you to put a pin in it. I need you to say that again.
That every day of the week. And all of us really know this. People spend money on what's valuable to them.
Yes.
And so what I say to people is, then who do you need to be in order to attract the people who are willing to spend that money?
Ooh, that's a good question right there.
Because Angela, what happens is when you become that person, you find yourself in different circles. And you find yourself in circles where people are interested in, hey, Dr. Nicole, can you solve my problem? They're not even asking you about the money. Damien, can you solve my problem? And if you can, they will pay you. They will pay you. And never judge a book by its cover, because you just never know. I've had people walk into my office, didn't seem like, if you just looked at them like they could pay a lot, they whipped out checks for thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. So I want to say to entrepreneurs that sometimes that can be, it's a self-limiting belief. But you don't want to let that be an excuse, because sometimes we're afraid to move into the circles of people who will pay for our services. And so that means I need to build. So there are people out there, and don't concentrate on who won't pay. Concentrate on those people that are willing to pay. They're looking for you. So while you're sitting there concentrating on people who won't pay, the people who will pay are passing you by. Hey, you know what? I say good. I go on. I add value to people where I can, but then move on to the people who pay you. They just have, and they may, let me say this, a year from now, they may be in that circle of people who will pay. Mm-hmm. They just may not be there right now, because we operate based on our awareness. So my awareness may be different a year from now, and I may understand, you know what? I am willing to pay Damien. I'll give you this quick example. I had a young lady that came to a workshop of mine. She walked up to me afterwards. She said, I don't know if you remember me. She said, I met you last year at so-and-so. I said, yeah, I remember you. She said, I want to apologize to you. And I said, for what? She said, last year when I sat next to you and I asked you about your coaching program and you sent me the information, I told you I couldn't afford it. She said, and here I am today sitting in your workshop, and I'm in the same place I was last year. She said, and I was sitting here, and it really came to me that last year I really could have afforded your services. It just wasn't valuable enough to me. She said, so now I'd like to get your services. She said, and I don't care how much it costs.
Wow.
So it's when people become aware of what it is that they need. You find yourself in the same place year after year after year. At some point, you decide you can afford it.
Oh yeah, you'd be like, I don't care what it costs. Yes.
Exactly. So it's all, have fun with it. Have fun with entrepreneurship. Have fun building business. Have fun making relationships, and build. It's going to happen. The only way you lose is if you quit.
I love it. Just drop and go. Can we pass the offering book?
I know, right? Look, she's really hot here.
I know.
Listen, and guys, we're in circles of people who are entrepreneurs and who are business people. And sometimes we can get an unrealistic view of what the world is like in general and not understand that we are a very small percentage of the world. And the people who don't quit win. It's not because they're the smartest necessarily. It's not all the time because they know everything. It's because they started and they just would not quit. Would not quit.
I love that. Yeah. I don't have enough paper. I need some more paper.
Look, I just like in the coaching industry, and I won't name his name, but I just like coaching industry. I'm a little older than you all. So I remember him when he started out with these little, I remember it clearly. In fact, I still have copies of them because I keep them as mementos. It reminds me. And he started out with these little CDs. And now he's one of the biggest names in the industry. It's because he just didn't quit. I mean, he can get people now to pay him $100,000 a day just to talk to him. Just don't quit.
Amazing. So in that vein, because you are dropping so many golden nuggets and things that's going to help many entrepreneurs out there just take themselves, just a self-inventory of where they are and helping them take to the next level. What would you say? You've been in business for 30 years. You have a wealth of knowledge. If you can narrow it down to, let's say, the top 3 skills needed to be a successful entrepreneur, what would you say they would be?
Innovation, discipline, focus. But there's one thing that you have to lay those 3 on, and that's a belief in yourself. That's a belief in yourself. If you don't develop anything else, develop a belief in yourself. A belief in yourself, because that's what's going to it's going to make everything else run. If you have discipline, you have focus, but you don't believe in yourself, you can't move. You can't move.
Wow. I think everybody in our audience right now, Barbara, they're already saying thank you. You are dropping everything that we need right now. So if you had to do it all over again, this entrepreneurial journey, what would you do differently?
Look, I'm usually the person who says, I don't really have I don't look back. One of the things I don't do generally is to look back except to get lessons. I do not harbor on yesterday except to get the lessons and move them into today. But if I said there was one thing, it was the thing that I just ended my conversation with Nicole about. And that is, I would have believed in myself earlier. See, I knew of my skill set in corporate America. I knew what I did and could do for the corporation. I saved them millions of dollars in their legal department every year. I knew what I could do for other people. Moving out into entrepreneurship, you have to have a belief in yourself. So I would have believed in myself earlier. That's what I would have changed. And that would have meant building more boldly earlier, taking more risk earlier. So that's what I would advise entrepreneurs. You have to take calculated risk, but take calculated risk early and be bold and just be tenacious and relentless about what you're doing.
I love that. And I can honestly say that I would agree with you on that, even for myself. I think I doubted myself a little bit too much in the beginning. And again, but fortunate enough to have people like you around me, encouraging me. So that's awesome. So we're nearing the time, unfortunately, where we have to wrap up. But here's what I do know, Barbara, that nobody who watched this show, whether it was tonight live or it's the Sunday replay, heard you speak and did not want more information. So how can people learn more about you, your programs, podcasts, just stay connected with you and follow you?
Yes. Well, all of my Instagram, my LinkedIn, and Facebook are all at Barbara Littles. But where they can get everything and touch me in any realm is on my website, at Barbara M. You have to put the M in, like Mary. Littles with the S on the end.com. BarbaraMLittles.com. And there, everything is housed really on my website. So that's the easiest way to get in touch with me.
Well, definitely. And so it's on the screen right now, everybody who's watching, but also, our ambassadors are putting it in the comments. So you can just click on it literally right from the comments of the show if you're watching live this evening or on the replay. And so, friends, here's another great thing about Barbara. As Damien said, we call her, what you say, Damien, the plus person, a plus person. She's going to give more than she takes. And so she came bearing gifts. And so she has prepared a free PDF, and it's titled 7 Strategies to Grow Your Business. So you can download it by going to our website, and you can go to www.blackentrepreneurinstitute.com/show. And there you can get the handout from tonight's show. And again, follow Barbara, connect with her, because I can tell you, you will be better served having her in your life. So thank you so much, Barbara.
Thank you all. You all are fabulous. I want to just encourage you to continue to do what you're doing. You are doing something that in a space where you are much, much needed. So thank you for your brilliance that you bring every week.
Thank you so much. What a great show, guys. I mean, if you weren't taking notes, you missed everything. So I hope you, like myself, continue to learn, have pages and pages of notes, because that was golden there. And so if you found value in tonight's show, make sure you share, tell other people, like it, gives us some thumbs up, start a watch party, let other people see this valuable information, because this right here is priceless. So thank you, Barbara, for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. It was invaluable. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
So before we sign off tonight, we just want to remind our viewers that it's almost time again for boot camp registration. It's hard to believe that these 8 weeks go so fast. And so we are, we probably got about 2 more good weeks left with this current boot camp. We're in cohort number 3. Yeah. And then we'll be gearing up for April. So if by chance you were one of those people who wanted to start 2021 off differently and be a part of a program that was going to, as Damien said earlier, right, give you that practical application. Dr. Nicole said, you get those wins. And as I mentioned, you want to grow along with us because we're all growing our businesses too. Then you still have a chance. So you can go to our website at www.blackentrepreneurinstitute.com and register for this next boot camp. You'll be glad you did. Damien, do you want to just share anything about the topics or anything real quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, the whole reason that we exist is to elevate the mindset and the money of Black and minority entrepreneurs. And if you've not had the success that you desire, come join the boot camp. Don't overthink it. Look, we start off by teaching you how to lay a solid foundation. Barbara talked about the importance of having a structure, having a business, not just having products, right? So we want to help you with that. So we're going to talk about laying a foundation to make sure that you have a legitimate business and not just a side hustle. We'll talk about helping you to define your niche, how important it is that there is some specific segment of the market that you're serving, because when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one. We're going to cover the ins and outs of knowing your brand and creating your brand message. We're going to talk about moving the comma. We're going to help you get comfortable with sales. We're going to help you learn the art and skill of negotiation. I mean, do I need to keep going? I mean, really. As an entrepreneur, you're going to have to wear multiple hats, and there's more than one thing you are going to know. And Barbara talked about the importance of continual growth and continual learning, and we are here to help you. And not just that. And you know what? Before I go on and on and on, I'm going to let Dr. Nick talk to us about the piece that we do, which is the practical application. Dr. Nick?
Yeah, Damon kind of tell you all the situations, but the best way to do something is to do it. And with our practical applications, we put you to work. And that's how you get the results. So don't hesitate. You heard Barbara said, just do it, step out. Be innovative, discipline, focused, and have belief in yourself, and get people who are willing to help. And that's what we are here to do at Black Entrepreneurs, willing to help you get what you need, help you lay that foundation, and put you to work so you can practice these things before you go out into the marketplace. And that is going to be the key and differentiator between us and anybody else. So it's amazing. Sign up. You guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you for watching.
And stick around for the candle lighting. That's coming up next at 8:30. So just hang around for a little bit for the candle lighting. Thanks for joining us. Be blessed and be well. Barbara, thanks for being with us.
Bye-bye. Thank you all.